Just watching my time.
Are we live yet?
Not yet. He's bringing it up right now.
Travis,
Travis.
Travis,
Travis.
do I do to the clock or to the
Yeah.
computer?
You're wasting my minutes.
To the computer.
You said to the computer. To the computer?
Recording in progress.
It's now 7 o'clock, and if we're at the regular Monday meeting, November the 18th, 2024. So if everyone would please silence their cell phone and join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you do the roll call, please?
Councilmember Burke,
Here.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Here.
Councilmember Rounds,
Here.
Councilmember Frymark,
Here.
Councilmember Houston,
Here.
Councilmember Hall,
Here.
Councilmember Friend,
Thank you.
Mayor Deinhardt.
He's
Here.
online.
Here.
Okay, do we have anything for citizen?
I was just asked to turn the camera on, that's all.
Let me look here. I don't think the camera is.
Yeah, I got the camera right here. No, I got
Oh.
it. I got it under the meeting with the video.
It is now, correct? Okay.
Thanks.
All right, perfect. I need the sheet for, from out there. Okay, we're citizens' communications for items not on the agenda. The first one is Savannah. Are you gonna go now, or you wanna wait and? Okay.
Hi there, I'm Samantha Brown,
And I'm Savannah.
and we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about an event that we're planning with our AP Government class at WHS called Civic Power Hour. So Civic Power Hour was created by our government teacher, Ms. Condit, with the goal to create space to support civil dialogue and civic engagement. Our AP Government class is holding this event on December 11th from 6:30 to 7:30 in the WHS Commons. This event is being built by our class as a whole with guidance from our teacher, and we plan to have a series of Civic Power Hours with a variety of issues in mind. But at first we will be discussing zoning. How this event is laid out is for the first 30 minutes we will have a panel of experts that we're working on inviting, who are going to share their perspectives on the issue, and the second 30 minutes we will take questions from the audience. Our goal is to create a community that is stronger, and we think that as a class, a civil dialogue is the way to achieve that. We're hoping to put signs out in local businesses and advertise on social media. We would love for anyone interested to attend, and absolutely anyone and everyone is welcome.
Awesome. And then kind of to add to that, our goal is not only for just high schoolers to be there. We really want the community to be there. So everybody here, as well as the board, we'd love to see you guys there. You guys are actually our first place we've advertised this, and so we'd love if you guys could just spread the word for us so we can see as many people as possible. And yeah, so our AP government class is the ones really leading this, kind of like the mayor debates, so we are leading that. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Did you state the date and everything? that you're
Yes, it was on December 11th from
Okay.
6:30 to 7:30, and it will be in the WHS Commons. And we will start making posts about that coming up soon. We are
Okay.
working on those. So
6:30 to 7:30, 7?
yeah, 6:30 to 7:30 on December 11th.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? Anyone in the audience?
I think right now, sorry, I do know the answer to this. I think right now she has, we have 2 topics that we're looking, zoning is the first one. We're hoping to host a second semester and possibly even a third, depending on how the turnout looks for the first 2. Okay, thank you. Yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our next one is we have Leslie Lawley.
Good evening. I'm Leslie Lawley, a resident of Woodland since 2002, and I'm currently the teacher at Woodland Co-op Preschool. That's been in Woodlands since 1977, so a really long time. And I came here tonight on behalf of some of our parents and myself as a parent and a teacher that we are really enjoying the new library space. As the co-op, we take a monthly field trip where we walk from the co-op to the new library. And our little 4- and 5-year-olds have done a great job. Nobody complains, and we love the new library space. And the only issue that our parents and ourselves have had is that the corner of Buckeye and Gehrig is a unprotected crosswalk. So we do feel that, obviously this new facility is going to be utilized by everyone in the community, especially middle schoolers, since it's so centrally located. I know that my own son likes to go there after school. So we did have some concerns because traffic there is really fast, and a lot of people aren't really slowing down at that intersection because they're just coming through the stoplight or going to the stoplight. So we were lucky enough last month to have the Woodland Police Department meet us at the corner of Gehrig and Buckeye and give us a police escort, which again the children loved, that they pulled into the middle of the intersection, turned their lights on, kind of stopped traffic. So our 24 preschoolers in the morning and again 24 preschoolers in the afternoon can cross safely to go to the library. I do know that there are other ways of passage to get to the library. I've instructed my own children to go to the dollar store and then cross there because that is a 4-way stop. It's a little more protected. But hoping that maybe the city of Woodland would consider putting in a protected crosswalk with either flashing lights, or I know in some other small communities they have flags that are posted on the nearby street sign that people can pick up and use and be crossing guards. So I know the preschool ourselves, we have already purchased some safety vests and a stop sign so we can be our own crossing guards. But we were hoping that the city would consider putting a little towards, putting some funds towards putting in a protected crosswalk in that area.
The mayor is on Zoom, so he's with us here this evening.
Great.
So would you like to address that?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. So, hey, Carol, can you do me a favor and let Riley into the meeting? He's sitting outside this. He's on family vacation. He's trying to get in. So I appreciate the comment. So there's been a little bit of discussion with Riley, myself, and Travis there. This is one of those intersections that we have looked at doing a traffic analysis and trying to figure out what we need or not need there, as well as up by the new housing development that's going in by North Fork Elementary. So I don't have a response right now of whether there will be or won't be, but it is on our list. And Riley, if he's here, could chime in, but he is trying to get into the call right now.
I think I've got him on there now, so.
Okay. Hey, Riley, you're on mute, but we're talking about the intersection there at the library. Whether or not we can turn that into a crosswalk or lighted signal or use flags there. You and I and Travis have had conversations about this.
Should I think I need to unmute him maybe.
He should be able to unmute himself.
Oh, okay.
I know he's out in the middle of the woods hunting with his daughter. So family time is important.
Yes,
so
it is.
anyway, yeah. So we will get back to you. Make sure and leave your name, number, email address, and Travis or I or Riley will reach out to you and have further discussion on that because it is one of those things that we're looking at.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, our next person is Mr. Belisle.
Thank you and good evening. On behalf of Planners Days, we're looking forward to seeing you all at this next year's event. It'll be June 19th through the 22nd, and we've just finished the theme contest. So tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, we'll have some results for that. But there were 15 entries, and when we get the theme, then we do the art contest. This year, the art contest will just be a downloadable form online. Previously, I'd had them all printed and sent them off to the schools and only got a few back. So we're just going to direct people to go online and download the form and drop it off at the visitor center or mail it into the P.O. box.
Okay.
We're looking for sponsors and prizes already, of course. And we meet tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the VFW and looking for other great ideas and people that want to be involved. The link is up to register for the Rotary Market, for the Saturday and Sunday market. And yeah, if anybody's got stuff they need to get with me about Planners Days, come and see me or email me, president@planters-days.com. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions? Okay.
Okay, we'll see you again in a little bit.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Jason. I'm not sure the last name there. You want to pronounce it? Okay.
Like cow in the barn.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to say that. Okay.
Hello, I'm Jason, and I was here to talk to you about the crosswalk, which Leslie already talked about. But I just thought that would be a good idea to have flashing lights or some flag, because that's right there between the middle school and the library. We just live in the area, and I think it'd be nice to have a protected intersection there, just like they do. They have one on Davidson and 5th, kind of by the railroad tracks, and they also have one by Columbia River Carbonates. So like, I don't know if you guys noticed there, but Columbia River Carbonates is now on both sides of the road, and if they have a bunch of grown men that need a blinking light to cross the street, it seems like it might be good to have one for the library as well. So, and I wasn't sure if maybe needed to be funds, or if like, I don't know if Columbia River Carbonate put in that light themselves, or if there's stuff like that, if there'd be any fundraising efforts or stuff to like get help out with.
Mr. Goddard, do you know,
I do know that the crossing at Columbia River Carbonates was paid for by Columbia River Carbonates.
Okay. And do we have any idea what like costs are like for that? Something like doing a light like that?
I believe those are around the neighborhood of $250,000 a piece.
Okay. Cool.
And I, if I could, I would like to say that intersection is part of the Exit 21 project, and
Correct.
it will be reconstructed in either a roundabout or a traffic light with full pedestrian improvements as part of that project.
Okay. And would the city be okay with doing something like temporary, like just a bucket with flags in the meantime before like some big thing happened, or just considerations, something in the short term if we have better stuff coming down the road?
Mr. Mayor, you want to address that?
Absolutely, and that's part of the discussion that Riley and I and Travis are having. I Travis, you did say that they paid for their own signal, which they did up there. And like I said, the one up by Norfolk, that would be, part of the state. We're working with them, kind of a little bit more conversation on that. The one by the library with Exit 21 coming along. Certainly don't want to go through a lot of money at something that is going to be temporary, but also children and community safety is a priority. So that's why we're looking to say, okay, what is an interim solution here as we make through 2026 when we think we'll figure out a permanent solution for Exit 21. So absolutely more information to come on this.
If they just need flags, like, I'll go buy them some flags if they just need flags for crossing. I mean,
I don't think it's just a matter of flags, is it, Mr. Mayor?
What was the question, Ms.
Mr.
Rose?
Houston said that he would, if it was a matter of just buying flags, he'd buy flags, but I think there's a little more to it than that, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, because we want to make sure with the liability, and I understand, putting little, places for flags to go on each side, and then all of a sudden the flags end up at one side. I mean, it's further conversation, but if he wants to pay for those signs, I'd be happy to let him pay for and donate some signs.
Okay.
well,
Okay,
I'll talk to Leslie about it.
thank you. Okay. That's the last, is there anyone in the audience that would like to? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that has comments for items not on the agenda? Okay.
Since we're talking kind of about that, it reminded me across the street here of the fire station. Every day somebody pulls into their park to do something or turn around, and there has been an accident there. And a couple weeks ago I was driving this way, and the car made a U-turn, and it wasn't close to hitting me, but when they turned around, they they shocked to see me. So if they're, someday you got to think about, they want to paint the red all the way across, or even they put the small yellow line in front with no parking, would make a big difference. Because there will be an accident again, but more so if there's emergency, somebody driving out that's parked there is going to be in a hurry.
Is this at the fire station next door here? Is that what you're talking?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say, but once a blue moon happened, but every day it happens. At least once a day, sometimes it's a truck and trailer, mostly cars, and there's been an accident with U-turn. And what made me say it again is because there was an accident, but when a couple weeks ago when I shocked that person, it kind of startled them when they made U-turn, they didn't expect me there. So I said, and getting back to when they built the fire station, they put rock in the ground because there was water in the ground, because is anybody familiar with what they did back then? Was anybody here when they put that rock in the ground?
Yeah.
And they felt the shaking? And I kind of have a question, Okay, well, there was a lot of shaking, a lot of damage done, and it's gotten worse. Like I said, my shop is pretty bad. If we had a foot of snow, it would probably split and just go in half. I don't know. And what I was saying about this roof, maybe it'll never go up, but the metal roof has definitely been loosened from that stuff. How long it'll stay there, I don't know, but, it's loosened. That and, I guess that's about it. Oh, the water, does that, like I said, I asked the guy and he said, well, they're putting in the rock because it's like a lake underneath there. Does anybody know where that water went to? I don't either. I have an idea, because I have sinkholes, my driveway's got cracks all over it, it's sinking, and maybe it's just my imagination, but this is happening, and the damage is getting worse and worse. Oh, and this house over there, has anybody ever been inside of this house, the old house that are they gonna burn that down, or, I mean, the inside of the house is nicer than my house. It is totally remodeled. And why they destroyed that house, I don't know. Maybe another siding on it. Metal roof would probably last a long time, but siding on the roof, but they probably did a lot of damage when they shook it so bad. But if they wouldn't have done that, slowed it down, little crack in new fire station, I could deal with that. but the damage they did was crazy. And the people that were sitting in that house when it was going on, they were scared too. Maybe some of them wouldn't admit it, but the one gal would, you know, it's a scary situation. So I just wasn't going to come up, but I did. Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, you got all that correct?
I did, absolutely, and
I'm sorry, sometimes I'm not very good at trying to say things, so hopefully he's good at understanding for some reason. So I just hope you understand me, Mayor. I'm kind of hard
absolutely.
on
And you
Go ahead.
Yep, we've had conversations about this, and can continue on the fire station. I'm trying to visualize that, and I apologize. I don't have drawings and things in front of me. Don't we have no parking signs down there to the west of the fire station? And so you're saying that we need yellow striping there as well?
Well, just
Is that what you were getting at?
Yeah, well, they said they're going to they wanted to paint the whole thing red, the wide spot, which wouldn't be bad, but even the front short spot, about this wide space of the cement from the road up, you paint that, the yellow and put no parking over there, and the signs don't mean much on the street anyway, so if somebody has to stop, they're going to stop anyway, so. But in the U-turn, just maybe even like I said, you ain't have to put just no parking across there would probably work, right as you pull in there.
So are they doing a U-turn where they come into the police department, go through that little?
No, they pull right in the fire station, right in the parking lot, and they do everything.
Okay, so
trucks pull.
So they're actually doing the U-turn in the parking lot
Yeah.
of the fire station towards, and then the saw and cycle. Okay.
And they don't make as U-turns as much as they just pull in there. A lot of cars pulling and stop, and it's almost like a magnet. It's really crazy. But yeah.
Okay.
Just
Yep.
Someday if you have a recording, just look back on it and go through fast every day. You'll see in a recording that somebody stops in there. Most of them just parking and doing something. All right. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on comments on items not on the agenda? How about online? Okay. We will move on. And Ms. Dowdy, you have something you want to?
Yes. Councilmember Friend said that he's out ill tonight, and so I'd like to motion to excuse him from tonight's meeting.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a first and second.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Framark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to the agenda approval.
Motion to approve agenda.
Second.
Okay.
One second, sorry. Motion to approve the agenda. Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Framark,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Okay. It is 7:23. We will move out of the regular meeting to budget workshop. So, Mr. Mayor, did you want to take over on that?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Rounds. So, first item there that you'll see is the budget calendar. No changes to that. Just keep providing visibility for the community. The next item is the preliminary budget. This presentation was presented at our last council meeting. I just want to provide everybody with a few changes that were made to it following the last workshop and prior to the community public hearing for citizen comment. So the new budget here is presented. It increases the police budget by $100,000. That's for the Axon body cameras and dash cams. So the discussion was, hey, let's do that sooner than later. It's a 10-year contract. It's on the agenda tonight for approval. So I increased the police department budget for $100,000. At the same time, the assistant planner, Maylene, gave her notice, and that was discussed at the last meeting. We took that out of the budget, and that was a savings of about $115,000 by not backfilling that. Having discussions with Travis, that's the position that, again, there's about $40,000 of fees that we will get on that. Really spending $115,000 for the position doesn't make economic sense. Certainly weren't looking to lay anyone off, just looking to right size the city. So with her leaving, that position won't be filled. And then at the same time, there's $33,000 that was added back into the water and parks budget. This was about watering Horseshoe Lake down there. In total, this came to about a $15,000, $20,000 change of the overall budget. Nothing material, just moving dollars within the departments. So what I would say about the watering of Horseshoe, and Riley and I've had conversations about this, welcome additional conversation and workshop if people want to talk about it. The sprinkling system went in 2022 time frame. We certainly don't water before planners days. We have enough rain until June. So really our watering comes in July, August, and September. The $33,000 will be there, but I think it's a discussion we can have later on as we go along. Something to think about is that the majority of that part gets used by individuals from out of town. Again, I'm not saying because locals don't use it, we shouldn't keep it tidy. It's one of those things where the community needs to just help, and say, hey, do we want to spend $30,000 to water it or not? And again, it's one of those things up until 2022, it was not watered previously. So, but for the $30,000, it wasn't something for us to get tripped over about when we were moving the other dollars around. So those are the things that have changed on this budget. So if you look, it's a balanced budget of $37,496,414 still. And that is what I would throw out there for this workshop. If there's members of the community or anyone on council or anyone online that wants to have additional comment, those are the items that was changed since 2 weeks ago.
Well, on the watering of the park, didn't Riley say it was going to be 60,000? Are we going down to watering less? Is that what we're doing? Ben's it's only 30,000?
No, it was $33,000. We already had dollars in there for other items, but the watering is $33,000.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone have any?
Yeah, I think we should put
Mr. Hall?
I think we should put in some
Mr. Houston.
Sandpoint wells, and then we wouldn't have to pay all that money.
So, go ahead, Mr. Hall.
No, I had a different question, so go ahead and answer that.
So I think the question was putting a well in, and again, we're on city water and sewer wells and within the city limits, and then also down at Horseshoe, you can't put a sand point in because you're going to have shoreline and things. Travis, if you want to chime in, you're more than welcome. But
put it across the street.
So there would be a shoreline permit that would be required, and then there would be the infrastructure associated with the well itself would also have to get a shoreline permit.
What if you moved it far enough away from the lake that you wouldn't have to do a shoreline permit?
The fact that there are pipes within the shoreline jurisdiction means it would still be affected by the shoreline permitting.
As I remember too, there was a water rights issue, just a total water rights issue.
Not for
Did we even
Sandpoint.
have the right to do that? So.
Okay, Mr. Hall, you had another question?
Yeah, the other question I had on when the final budget comes out, will it have page numbers for reference? I hope so. This one does.
I will certainly add them on there. My apologies, Mr. Paul.
Yeah, easier to swallow.
Okay, Mr. Burke.
Yeah, I think that, we're taking care of a park, we're mowing the lawns during the, when it's needed to be done. And the people in the city wants to have their parks looking beautiful. I hear that all the time. So I concur, I think that we should spend that $30,000.
Or get a couple holding tanks and catch rainwater, and then you'll have.
You can't go cheat the system, you gotta do it
It's not
right.
cheating the system. It's called putting it in a holding tank, and you catch rainwater, and it fills it up, and then you use it for irrigation.
I don't know if they can do that.
Yeah.
I think with the state, I don't think you get, that's state water.
The
I
rain
think
that comes out of the ceiling.
I think there is something
No, I don't
to
think
do
so.
with that too, but.
Yeah. We're government, we're not.
They own the rain now.
So you have
We can
Mr.
certainly
Burke.
look at that. I heard, I mean, like I said, I mean, we'd had community members who came to the workshop last time and were vocal and said, hey, they would rather not see that. So we do have citizens on both sides of the fence here. I think we just need to, have the money in the budget. We can certainly look for other alternatives and other solutions. We obviously know that a well is not there and a sandpoint is not an option. Again, on a $30 million budget, I didn't want to get tripped over $30,000. It makes it so that we're, so.
And this is
Mrs. Dowdy.
This is cutting it in half, because I know that this was cutting it in half and watering every other day instead. When we were talking to Mr. Bennell.
So we spent in 2024 $33,000 on that, or $33,000. So what we did is put the exact same $33,000 back in there. Again, we can look to see about watering, look to changing that. Again, we can make it 15,000. We can make it 25,000. It was just one of those things where we knew that we're looking at the current water bills was 33,000. Let's put the $33,000 in there.
Okay, well, last meeting it was 60,000.
Right.
That's what I was asking
Yeah,
earlier.
last meeting it was 60,000, and we talked about cutting it in half to water every other day, and I think that's where we got the 33.
It's all crazy to water that much.
Well, it should be in this budget here. Okay.
You got people starving and worried
The-
about water.
Fund budget. Can't remember what it was. I know it was a stupid question. How much it costs to mow the lawn? We'll stop that.
It's okay, we can move on.
It was so
move
the
on.
but
Let's move
the
on.
line item.
I think let's move on and figure it out.
The
It can
line item
always
is
be in-
$50,000, but the watering of the park is $33,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I couldn't
Okay.
find it in.
If at a later time, if the council just can't stand the Brown Park, that's something we could change at that point, couldn't we?
Absolutely,
That's right.
100%.
Right. So. Okay, anyone else have any discussions on that?
We're keeping 30,000 in, right?
We're keeping 30,000 in, is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
Correct. Right
Okay.
now, the $33,000 has been added back into that line item in the park fund into utilities.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to bring to anyone's attention, or?
No, I mean, those are the only changes that we did over the 2 weeks is those 3 items.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that has anything they want to say? Yes, come on up.
I just kind of listened. I'm not sure if I caught everything, but I've always wondered if I could dig a shallow well in my yard to water my grass. You probably only have to go 15, 20 feet down.
22.
What is it? Okay, so if you're talking about a park and there's things, technicalities, you gotta, go, find out how to undo them because there's a lot of water in the ground. I mean, that'd be nice. I don't know, but there's probably, it seems like something too real simple, and I've thought about this in my mind, but I know nothing about it. These wells. I put my own well in my house in Minnesota. I had 5 acres, and I hadn't dug a well. I put my pump in, and it was pretty simple, really. But that's just for a house, But I'm just saying that, I went 150 feet, I think, there. Water, and you're saying it's 20 feet down. I don't know. I'm just guessing at that, but yeah. So if there's any way of putting a well in there, I'd put a well in because I don't think it's.
I don't know if there is a way with it being water line.
I call it a point of order because it's being taken care of by the mayor. We got to find out whether we can put a sand point. I don't think we can. Legally, I don't think you can put one in the city. If you got one that's in there and you can maintain it, but you can't put a new one supposedly without a permit.
That's
Am I
not
right,
true.
You're
Travis?
not supposed to put one in the city, but you're the
No,
city.
you can't
so.
put them in the city.
Okay,
Huh?
yeah, maybe but you're the city, so I'm just saying,
You can maintain.
if you can save a lot of money on water and be able to water that by that, which I don't know, but I'm thinking you could. It makes a lot of sense because there's so much water in the ground, it's so shallow around there. That's the only reason I think that it's.
Next time you
You'd
can
almost be crazy
become
not to, but I
council
might
member,
be
you can make
crazy
the
to think
decision.
that too.
Put in
I
a
don't
deep
know.
well on their property.
In my opinion, but I don't know. I'm just
Okay.
saying that
Thank you.
makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. Yes.
So I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but Riley just called me. Originally, when they did this, it was all around 60K, and since then they've been able to reduce it down to 33,000. So they've almost cut the cost in half over the
Right.
last 2 years.
Okay. Can he not get online? Do you know?
Apparently, he got kicked out of the meeting, and he was trying. He's not able to get back in, so he just called me. I don't know if he wants to try again.
You bootleg them.
Oh, yeah, I don't see him there now.
Yeah, he's been kicked out. So it was 60,000 in 2023. We've looked at 2024, and by reducing the water and trying to, right size this, it was 33,000, and that's why the 2025 budget now has exactly the same $33,000 in there.
Okay, good. All right.
Yes, you just pay for the power. But
Okay.
I know they can do it because Pittner put one in over at the Promise Church, and Pittner's not going to put in a well unless he gets the right permits from the state or whoever.
It's
you-
about
did you
water
give him
rights though,
permission?
because we
Pardon?
get the water
Did you give
from
him
the
permission?
river. We cannot touch it.
That you don't. When you
You
drill a
need to
well, you
run
don't
this
take it from the river.
It's just-
Okay, well, I'm sure the mayor, if council wants him to look into it, I'm sure he will, so. And I know there is a lot of rules and
I'll
regulations
get
on
all
it, so.
How about I do a
think
little
we,
research for you, and I'll come back
probably
next
should.
meeting with all the guidelines and stuff.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, do you have anything else?
Nope, I will certainly put this on our list and report back sometime in 2025, obviously before we start getting into the watering season in July.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything on the workshop?
No, those are the two fixes I think we asked for
Okay, okay.
with our three.
All right, shall we move back into, it is 7:38, so we'll move back into the regular meeting,
Are we gonna-
or into the public hearing, actually. So, ordinance number 1566, final budget.
You open it to the public, right?
Weren't you public
So-
hearing? Yes.
Yeah, so just so everyone is clear, to approve a final budget, we're required to have a public hearing, and it's done by ordinance. So we'll have a public hearing tonight where citizens can come out, give their opinions, give their thoughts. This is your opportunity to speak up from that. And then we will have later in the agenda tonight, we will have the first reading of the budget. And depending on how that goes, we will have a second reading in December. but this is the citizens' opportunity outside of workshop to have a public hearing to nay, yay, speak up loud and proud.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak to it? Okay, Mr. Bilal.
It looks good to me, and I encourage you to pass it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, Ms. Smith?
I looked at the budget and I think it's really a good one and I think you should approve it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the audience? Anyone on council have anything? Okay. Mr. Burt?
Yeah, I was concerned about the funds. I think we talked a little bit about the lodging tax funds.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what we got in the paper here? Is that what's planned?
Yes.
So, JJ,
Yes, go ahead.
the lodging tax is, we receive 60,000. Lodging tax committee has recommended 70,000 payout. So as we get to the budget here in the budget agenda item on the action items to approve the agenda, if for some reason council members by a vote of 4-3 say no, they don't like the lodging tax, we would send that back to lodging tax and we would start this and come back through the process here. So I didn't have a full direction at the workshop. There wasn't a lot of, I understood Melissa or Miss Dowdy had an opinion, but I didn't feel there was a lot of strong momentum from others. So again, it would have to go back to the lodging tax committee. It's not something I can go change. I take that recommendation from them.
Mr.
So that's
Mayor,
why it's still
how
at
much is
7,000.
left in the reserves if we do?
In the
what's-
reserves, there would still be about
34,655.
Okay.
correct. I was gonna say around $35,000.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Dowdy?
Will that hold up us passing the full budget, or can we just put that to the side and pass the rest of the budget?
We would have to take the whole budget back.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
But again, I don't want, I mean, if council wants to do it that way, we are more than happy to do that. I don't want somebody feeling like there's something over their heads here or whatever. I'm here to do what you council members and what our community wants. This is the city's budget. This isn't my personal budget.
Personally, myself,
Well-
I would just soon to see it stay with the way the committee voted, because that's what it's for, is heads and beds, and that's what we want. And if we don't,
Hey,
we've got 30-some thousand.
Miss Rounds?
Yes.
Miss Rounds, sorry to interrupt, but we're in public hearing, so this is the community. We as council, we as elected officials don't get to chime in now. We
Okay.
during the action item will
Okay.
get that discussion.
Okay.
Sorry, so I apologize
That's
for
okay.
interrupting you.
That's all right.
Yep.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to say the very same thing that Carol started to say, so because the committee has made a recommendation, and I feel you should accept that. It's, they do a lot of work on coming up with that, and they made a conscious decision to go over the amount that was received. And that is actually why we have reserve accounts, so that we can do it in time of need. And I've looked at what they came up with, and I think we've had 2 people already say they like this. I haven't heard anybody say they haven't liked it, so I hope you go ahead and pass it.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move out of the public hearing if there's no one online. Okay, it is 7:44. We'll go back into regular meeting. And reports of standing committees.
Yes, tonight we had public safety, and we met at 5:29. In attendance was Chief, Councilmember Rounds, Councilmember Dowdy, and Councilmember Hall. Tonight we discussed that they are currently doing fire extinguisher testing, and they will be doing that for the next week or so. Yes? Oh, through tomorrow. Okay. Bryce Livesay, the new officer, was going to the academy starting in November, but that has been pushed back to December 16th. He will start. We have a lateral officer candidate who is in the background process as we speak. So that's looking promising. So that would be exciting news. Right now, Officer Kelly has been cleared to return to work on November 27th. So that will be great news for us to have him back in full rotation and not on light duty anymore. So great news. Right in time for Thanksgiving work. And then also for council, we are looking in the budget for next year to need 3 more police cars, and we need to order them as soon as possible. So if we pass the budget for the first reading tonight, we would like to possibly go ahead and place an order. They would not be any payments going out, and we would still be able to cancel them if need be if we don't pass it in a second reading. But we would like to go ahead and get them because basically we're at the very end of ordering season, and they would be closed for ordering for next year before our second reading. So keep that in mind when we are looking at the budget tonight. And that was the end of our meeting at 5:47. So it was a great meeting and short and sweet.
Anyone have any questions? Mr. Burt?
Are we ordering our cars from somewhere else?
Nope, we get them through the Ford fleet, which is our one here local out of Longview.
It seemed like we talked about going with the bigger, in other words, further up. Would it buy more cars and they get a better price?
No, I mean, obviously, if we order more cars, potentially, because they usually go to the customer that is ordering the most, but I don't think it would make sense for us to order more than what we need right now.
Okay. You're the chief.
I mean, when you're looking at
listen.
almost 6 figures to outfit a brand new car, how much money do you want to spend? Because I'll take all you'll give me.
And just to clarify, those 3 that are scheduled are in the budget.
Yes, they are.
They are in the budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Miss Rounds, can I speak up?
Yes, you may.
So just for community visibility and transparency, the logo on our police cars has been changed. So when Chief Gibbs came in working with the officers, as a morale said, hey, we would like to have something a little bit different, something that's more visible, reflective. So there is one car that has the new decal on there. It actually is cheaper than having the patrol cars with white doors. All the vehicles will remain black, and then the decal says Woodland, and it's reflective and lights up. So just for visibility, for one of those things that obviously the police department, for the morale that they all chose, and as a cost savings that they're looking at.
Every time I see it, I think it's an out-of-town cop car.
Okay.
I guess I haven't seen it.
All right. Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Dowdy? Okay, we'll move to the Human Resources was canceled this evening, and the next meeting will be on 12/16 of 24 at 6 p.m. The Finance Committee meeting was canceled, and it will be on 12/16/24 at 6 p.m. So reports of City Council. Yes, Mr. Burke.
Yeah, this weekend is the Turkey Bingo being held at the high school. Remember, it's at the high school, it's a different place. And we also have the Snowflake Bazaar. The Snowflake Bazaar runs from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. And then the Turkey bingo will check in at 5:45 until it's done. And I'm going to give out 60 turkeys, and then there'll be lots of prizes.
Okay.
So just join us. And 3 cards for $15. Nothing's changed on that price.
Ms. Dowdy?
Our high school sports, we had all of them make it to districts. So that was exciting. And we are starting winter sports now. So I think this is the first day of winter sports. So basketball, wrestling,
Tryouts.
Tryouts
3
and
days of
such
tryouts.
are starting. So start looking forward to winter sport time. And yeah, lots of things happening this coming weekend. And wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels if anybody's traveling. I know the snow has started to come to some of the areas around us and in the hills, so be safe as the weather's getting a little cooler.
Now, is Winterfest before our next meeting too? Is that?
I didn't see it on here.
I didn't see it either, but I don't know if it's on.
So, are you there?
Yes.
Our next council meeting is December 2nd, and Winterfest is December 7th.
Okay, so we can talk about that at the next meeting then. Okay.
Correct.
Anyone else have anything?
Yeah, I'll just say, while I was gone last week, my daughter-in-law and my son, they had their baby, so we had our first grandchild last Monday. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
And they're home and healthy. They're home and they're doing good.
Good. Anyone else have anything? Okay. All right. Reports of advisory committees. Mr. Blau.
Good evening again. Keith Blau, Interim Director of the Woodland Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. Visitor Center remains open as usual, closed on Tuesdays for luncheons, and will be closed for any of the upcoming holidays. October visitors were 129 visitors, and we're still offering Northwest Forest passes and Discovery passes. Also accepting submissions for after hours events and speakers. Our next speaker tomorrow for the luncheon will be Carmen Torres and Deanna Holland from the Woodland Action Center. And then no meeting the following week because of the holiday. And then on the 3rd, Chief Gibbs. We'll be glad to hear from him. We're also accepting submissions for Employee of the Year, Business of the Year, and Citizen of the Year. If you have something for those, come and see me. I think that's everything.
Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, thank you
All right,
very
thank
much.
you. Reports of city officers. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, so I really wanted to just touch on the budget piece here. We kind of went over on the workshop. We've done it over the last couple. Shout out to the management team that has done that. In addition, kind of want to give a shout out to the city workers. A lot of rain has happened. We've had storm drains and those things. Riley isn't there, but again, they are out there working in the weather to keep things moving along for the city. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all of our city employees doing that work for us. Okay.
Okay.
And then upcoming meetings, Thanksgiving offices are closed Thursday and Friday, the 28th and 29th. There is a planning commission meeting on the 21st, and then there's a city council meeting on the 2nd and the 16th. I want to talk about the city council meeting on December 2nd that is coming up. So marijuana will be on that city council agenda. Let's walk back through, talk about this as what has gone on here in the city. So took it to council at the recommendation of council to see if we could put it on a ballot initiative. That was shot down as a no. 20 after 4 brought back a rezoning. They paid their $2,500 rezoning fee, and it went to the Planning Commission back in August, September timeframe. And after something goes to the Planning Commission and gets a favorable pass there by RCW, it's required to come to City Council. So it is now coming forward to City Council. So this isn't something where one of the City Council members or myself said, hey, let's go put this back on the council agenda. This is coming back through from an individual asking for rezoning, paying $2,500 through the Planning Commission, and now it will come to City Council for approval of rezoning. So I just wanted everyone to have visibility on that situation on December 2nd. With that, that is all I have for the mayor's report and upcoming meetings. Mr. Rounds.
Okay. All right. We're at the point where we're ready to do consent items. Action item C, approve the minutes of November the 4th, 2024.
Motion.
City Council regular meeting.
Motion to approve the
Second.
minutes of November 4th.
Second.
Any questions of anybody? How about the audience? Okay.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Fraymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Okay. Action items. Action item D, approve vouchers.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
Councilmember Hall,
Can I just throw one thing out about the vouchers for the month?
Yes.
So there is a invoice that came in from Chase Bank for $38,000. Gina has been out on medical, and Chase Bank is one of those things where she has, it's only her information that is there. So I've been working with Chase Bank for the last week. We don't have documentation as far as what that loan is for. We owe a $38,000 payment in December. So I just wanted people to be aware there is a voucher that is out, that is not in this here, that we may have to do as another route to get it paid by December 1st, but I was not going to approve and pay a voucher where we did not know what it was that we were paying. I don't know which building it is. I don't know. I couldn't reconcile any of that. So just wanted people to have visibility to that piece.
Okay.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Fraymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye. Action item E, authorize mayor to sign contract with Exxon Enterprises, Inc. for police department body cams.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Anyone from the audience? Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, so I think this is a great opportunity for our community to move forward. Just a couple things as we reviewed the contract with our city attorney and going through with Gibbs. So our officers already have an MOU in place that they're required to wear body cameras. So this here will not create an issue with changing to a new vendor. So just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that's not going to be a concern.
Okay. Anyone else online? Ms. Dowdy?
We talked about this a little bit too at our public safety today, and just how well and how much better this is than our current system, and how these cameras, this is kind of going also with the vehicle cameras, and how a lot of our districts around us also use the cameras, and how well they will speak with one another as well, and be able to do things together so that we're able to pull information quickly. So I think this is a great asset that we'll be gaining for our department.
Anyone else? Okay.
Councilmember Freimark? Councilmember Houston?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Hall?
Aye.
Okay. Action item F, authorize mayor to sign contract with Exxon Enterprises, Inc. for police department fleet vehicle cameras.
Motion to approve?
Second. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Burke.
Okay, we're signing a contract to sign it before the budget is passed. Is that gonna be held till when it's passed?
This is coming out of this year's budget.
So,
So we're gonna
yeah.
commit that we have to approve the budget.
No, this is coming out
No.
of this year's budget. Money
Yeah,
this
the
year's
thousand,
budget.
the,
We have it in this year's budget to pay for it now.
right.
So it's rough. This is roughly, this piece here is, call it, $40,000 a year. So we have funds available in this year's budget to pay the $40,000. It's no different than any other contract that we sign, that if you have to do it in future years, you need to make sure that it's in your budget. So with you approving it tonight, we would have to make sure and say, okay, any budget that we approve later on, we're going to have to do, make sure and pay for it. It's no different than Minall. We have to make sure Minall, even though we signed the contract several years ago, we have to make sure that it continues to stay in the budget. And it is in the current, so we have funds for 2024, and then the next 9 years, we will make sure and continue to put these funds in the budget.
Okay. Anyone else? Mr.
Yeah, I think I commented last time we spoke about this, about the importance of, we know our officers protect the citizenry at large, but cameras will help protect the officers probably as well as any other single device. And I'm all for it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have anything to add? Okay.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark?
Aye.
Councilmember Hall?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Houston?
Aye.
Okay, action item G, ordinance number 1565, fixing the amount to be provided by ad valorem
Valerian.
taxes upon the property in the city of Woodland in 2025 and approving an ordinance summary for publication as more particularly set forth herein. Final reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Anyone in the audience? Anyone online? Mr. Mayor, anything?
This is just me. Yep, just letting everyone know this is to make it so that we're not increasing property taxes. A lot of words there to get around property tax. We're not increasing and taking the 1%.
Okay.
So we saved you money.
Councilmember Houston?
Aye.
Councilmember Hall?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark?
Aye.
Okay. Action item H, ordinance number 1566, adopting the budget for 2025 and providing the appropriation of funds into such accounts. First reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Comments? Ms. Dowdy?
I'm moving to approve. However, with the tax, the lodging tax, I would like for in the future for us to stay within our money that we're getting in to be the same that is going out and not using our reserves, because overall we can't continue to spend reserves. I'd like it to stay where it's an emergency fund and not stuff we're relying on to pay out. I think we need to have that as an emergency, and I don't think anything that we're spending out on this year is really an emergency that they need the money for. So, but otherwise,
Let her finish.
I do not want to stop the budget from being passed tonight, so I'm not going to stop it. But in the future, I'd like to see that tax be kept within budget.
Okay, I will say I was there in the budget meeting, or in the meeting for this here. And what we discussed was next year, if we have to cut the funds, we can cut them if the amount doesn't come in. So, but until then, we've got the funds. That's the only thing it can be used for. And so therefore, we decided that that would be a good thing. So, anyone else have anything? Anyone in the audience? Mr. Mayor?
No, I appreciate that, Melissa, Carol. Again, I like it when city council, all of us elected officials can come together, create resolution that works best for the community. I see pros and cons to all of this. So, no, I think both of you, because I think the two of you are on polarizing sides here, and I appreciate you coming together for a resolution on this. So, thank you both.
Okay.
Councilmember
Oh, wait,
Rounds?
Just a moment.
I got
Mr.
one
Burke.
question. What is that white building gonna be used for? So do we have a user yet?
It's gonna be
So-
rented out,
The old,
isn't it?
the new one.
Correct. Yeah. So we're waiting and working with Koff Construction to finish it, get some final permits on that, occupancy permit, and do a couple final things. And so it is in the budget, our expenses for 2025, as well as revenue, where we will rent it out just like we do the community center, and also like we will be doing with the old library. So instead of having the community center just one, we'll have 3 buildings that we'll be able to rent out to the community.
Okay.
And again, if you all want to change that, we can, I mean, that's something outside the budget. You can bring that next year and say, hey, or in December, say, this is what we want to do with that building instead. So again,
Didn't some of that money that we used to build it come out of a government agency for purpose?
we got 30,000 roughly from LTAC, which was the exact price of the building package, and then the port was for $10,000.
44,000.
Yes, it's for the trailhead. So a
That's what I was
portion of
trying
it
to-
will be
I couldn't
used for
think, yeah, I couldn't think of
tourism.
the name. So
Right.
the trailhead's not gonna get the building, right?
It never was going to get the building.
Oh,
It-
never
a
was?
portion, no. Was it, Mr. Mayor? The trailheads
thought
never
there
were. They're
was.
going to use the restrooms and have it as a water stop, correct?
Correct. So there's a men's bathroom, a women's bathroom, and a dog fountain there at the quote unquote trails head that can be used for individuals as they start their treks out.
So we're gonna have to run that building.
So what?
So we're gonna have to run that building to have it open for the other
Yes.
So-
people.
So the bathrooms will be open just like the bathrooms are down at Horseshoe. There is a timer on those.
Right.
I don't want to go into a rabbit's hole, but we can talk about the bathrooms down there. There are issues that we've had with, vandalism and that type of deal. And we're trying to, curb it as best we can. But yes, there will be timers on the bathrooms at the visitor center or the community center.
Put cameras on that outside.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Uh-huh.
Just questions I have.
Okay, is that all, JJ?
Yeah,
Is that- Okay,
that was it.
okay.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Houston?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Hall?
Aye.
Okay, it is 8:08. We'll go out of the regular meeting into a workshop for comprehensive plan update by SCJ Alliance.
Zoom call, is there anybody waiting?
Hello,
can you all hear me?
Oh, there you are. Okay, yes.
My name is Jeffrey Levy, and I work with SCJ Alliance, who is working on the comprehensive plan. coming up. So we just wanted to come in today and give you all an update on what we've been working on and everything that's been happening in the last few months. As a reminder, this is just an update, so there's no decisions that are being made at this time. We just want to keep you guys all updated and informed. Tonight we'll talk about a few things. We're just going to start with looking at the schedule, then look at a review of the housing analysis that was done, a quick word on accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, show the updates that we've done with vacant and redevelopable parcel maps, a quick review on what the transportation plan and the transportation element will be working on in the future. They're about ready to get started. And then a couple of words on the survey feedback that we've done. I wanted to ask Travis real fast, should I share the presentation, or is that something that is done on your end?
So I have it up on the screen. It's the one that was attached to the agenda. So if we're on the same page, we're looking at the calendar right now. Just let me know and I'll move to the next slide.
Okay, I can't see that, so you're just going to have to let me know and shout out if I start talking about something that's not on the page. So if you can go to the next slide, which should show the schedule.
We're there.
Okay. Let's see. So this is a living schedule, so it's going to change as we move along. But the hope is that things will only move forward or closer to where we are now, not further away. As you know, the comprehensive plan, we need to have this finished by December of 2025. If you look, you'll see in the coming year, there's quite a few engagement plans that are coming in, and we're going to even try to condense this a little bit and push some of these things forward. So we will be seeing each other quite a bit, probably at least once a month, if not coming in more often, between some open house workshops, some engagement events, planning commission, and of course city council. So we'll be seeing a lot of each other. There's going to be 2 open house workshops that we're going to be doing. That's two of the things that are labeled there, that we're planning on coming out and having a workshop to talk about once the first full draft is completed. And then again, when we are ready to have the rollout for the public review. That's going to be a month or 2 months of allowing any public comment and input once a draft has been vetted by staff. Let's see. And if you look down in phase 4, there's a draft comprehensive plan. Currently, that's going all the way through July of 2025. We're going to see if we can push that a little bit faster and get that draft off to Commerce a little sooner so that they can do their review, as that gets a little bit crowded at the end of the year. Finally, where we are right now, next steps are to take a look at the existing comprehensive plan and map out all of the policies and goals and analyze those, mark up what's missing to conform to GMA, or the Growth Management Act, also what policies and goals are contradictory or redundant, and the end we will hopefully have a more concise and legible document that will be good for the city. So if you can go to the next slide. That just says housing capacity, so we can go to the next. And we're going to quickly talk about housing allocations and land capacity. I'm going to go pretty quickly through this stuff, as this is review from some work that was, I believe, presented in July. So you can go to the next one. It says housing allocation methodology. Woodland is rather special and unique that most of the city is in Cowlitz County, and there's a tiny little bit in Clark that makes this very, very messy. The small allotment of Clark County is actually what is making this comprehensive plan need to be finished in this 2025 cycle, as opposed to the rest of Cowlitz County, which is in the 2026 cycle. And what that means for us is that the county has not finished its allocations of housing. So we are using the Department of Commerce's calculator that they've given out to figure out what the numbers are going to need to be, but we're sort of working ahead of the county as opposed to usually the county would give out the numbers and information for housing. So let's see. But the short of the whole thing is just to say that it looks like the city of Woodlands will not require additional capacity increases. So that's good news. And a lot of the work that can be done will be more voluntary and best practices and not as required. So if you go to the next slide that says housing allocations, there's a lot of numbers here. And again, this is should be a repeat of what was done in July. Just wanted to give a reminder about housing allocations. For the comprehensive plan, what we are doing is we are not building, we are preparing. So a lot of people kind of say when the county gives out what the housing capacity needs to be is, oh, we don't want all these people here, we don't want so much increase. The idea is that this is speculation of what they believe will be happening regardless of the number of people that will be moving into each city. And they can't control or stop that. They just want each city to plan ahead. So people talk about quite a bit. They're concerned with the utilities, or they're concerned with traffic. The idea in these updates are to say the people are coming. So what we can do is plan for the best locations for them to go. If we don't, they're going to be piecemeal, and that is where you really start running into unpredicted traffic problems and utility issues. So just that's my little soapbox on that. If you go to the next slide, it's land capacity analysis, and we just wanted to walk through quickly what we as a firm did. And the analysis steps, we're going to talk very quickly about identify vacant and redevelopable parcels, apply reduction factors, and then identify land capacity by income band. And that's for, that was for 1220, House Bill 1220 that was put into effect. Again, the short story is that the current land capacity already accounts for the needed numbers, hopefully, and I'll show you why hopefully in just a second. If you go to the next slide, we're gonna go very fast through this. Land capacity analysis is identifying vacant and redevelopable parcels. That's how we work to say what the capacity currently is for the city, and the two main things that are looked at are vacant and redevelopable parcels. And so I'll go past the math on that. If we can go to the next slide. Step 2, apply reduction factors. We also look at the GIS information of what the critical areas are, what the infrastructure needs are, and where specifically like the right-of-ways that need improvement, stormwater management, public space, other infrastructure. There's an assumed 15% land area, as the level of analysis would be pretty extensive to go parcel by parcel and really dig into that. And then there's some look at market factors, which again, this is speculation that the state has to do. So it is assumed 15% of land, but we don't know what will happen in the future. The upside of that is that if, let's say we had to have a capacity of 100 houses and 50 get built, then over the next 20 years, in 20 years from now, you need another 100 houses. Since only 50 were built in the last 20, 50 remaining is credited towards the next one. So this is planning for the future, but if it doesn't get built, then that gets to roll over and move on to the next. So if we look at the next slide, it says land capacity analysis, apply reduction factors. Again, we're going to skip over these numbers, but they're in your packet to take a look at in more detail if you'd like. It's just how it reduces the amount of housing that they believe would be needed. And then step 3 is looking at the House Bill 1220 and the need to divide the capacity into low income, moderate income, and higher income classifications. So there needs to be, required by law, a certain amount of each income each income level for each city. And so things like duplexes, townhomes, and apartments would be seen for the low and moderate income, and then single family houses for higher income. So if we go to the next slide, this is the land capacity analysis conclusion. And this is sort of the bottom line for this. So if you look at the box on the far right, that's got kind of the squiggles around it. What you'll see is that in Cowlitz County, there is a surplus of all 3 incomes. So there is just more than the capacity that will be needed. And if you look at Clark County, you'll see that there is a small deficit, and that needs what needs to be built. So total of 69 additional, planned for 69 additional units. This is an interesting one, and I have been trying to get meetings with Commerce to discuss this because it's odd to have 2 counties in with the same city. Basically, the simple answer is to say there is so much surplus in Cowlitz that should take care of the deficit in Clark. Additionally, Clark County land is such a small little piece that it doesn't necessarily make sense to rezone for all of these units. So even best practices and good urban design would not say that you would put that there. So we're fairly confident that you should be completely covered, but we haven't gotten a confirmation to them. And with the 2024 comp plans being finished up, Commerce is very busy right now, and so we still are trying to nail down a meeting with them. If we go to the next slide, the land capacity analysis conclusion. One thing that's missing here is that in the first large bullet, where Woodland must plan to accommodate 689 new housing units by 2045, what it's not saying in here is what it's existing. So what that would equal is that Cowlitz County needs 0 and Clark County needs 69. But again, I think we're gonna hopefully resolve that and make those zeros across the board. And as you can see in the last bullet point, further coordination is needed with Commerce. Okay, so if we can go to the next slide, to accessory dwelling units. Everybody still with us?
When we have a council person that would like to have a question, do you want them at the end or as you're going along?
I can take questions now. It may need to find some answers and get back to you at a later date, but you can ask, and let's see what
Mr. Bird.
if I have the information.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Clark County, and I think it was negative 18 units. You seen later on?
It was it needed 51 units for low income and 18 in the moderate income levels.
How are we supposed to get that if all we got in Clark County is Island Air Drive, which is already filled up?
That is my exact argument for Commerce that I want to talk to them about, because it basically makes no logical sense. And this is all calculated is more of mathematically, and so we just need some eyes on it to say, guys, look at this. Come on, it doesn't make sense. And hopefully that solves itself. Because like I said, it just doesn't make sense to try to rezone any of those areas that, as you say, are already filled up. There's wetlands areas, and that it wouldn't make sense. So stay tuned for that.
Okay. Mr. Houston has a question.
Couldn't the counties do like a some kind of a boundary line adjustment and give that to Cowlitz County so it's not even in Clark County anymore?
That's, and again, part of the conversation with Commerce is to talk about a land swap to see if we can do that. The Clark County hasn't been responsive on it, but we hope that through Commerce we can propose that as a option.
Yeah, that would solve all the problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the river was there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and it just goes back to the county saying, do you mind giving up a little bit? And sometimes some people just say, no, you don't want to give up an inch.
Okay.
So,
Ms. Dowdy.
Is there any in that Clark County section that is at all developable?
No.
Still?
I can answer that one. So yes, there is a large property that is currently underdeveloped with a single-family residential home, but it is also highly encumbered by shoreline and wetland critical area and habitat, riparian habitat area. So they could theoretically do a high-density residential development and achieve densities, but I know the property owner, and in the 20 years I've been in Clark, 25 years I've been in Clark County, I've been told it will never happen, and so far it never has. So it's unlikely that it will develop.
Okay.
and you know, in a lot of these comprehensive plans, we're kind of talking about much larger areas. So I think rarely can we go and we can say the landowner says it's never going to happen. So again, that'll be good information when we talk to them.
Okay, I think that's all the questions we have right now, so go on.
Okay, so now let's talk really quick about accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. With HB 1337, we'll need to allow for 280 accessory dwelling units on every property. Now that sounds scary, but not quite as much as you think. It is saying that on each property, either attached or detached, you can have 2 units, and there needs to be legislation passed by the city council as to what the size of that can be, and the state dictates some minimums and maximums of what that could be. So they're around 800 to 1,000 square feet. They could be up to 1,200 if you want to, but that's down the road a little bit. Some of the things I just wanted to mention really fast about this, and I'm going to guess that this is not a new topic for anybody, that everybody knows about these already. But what some people don't think about is that with the allowance of these, number one, you cannot exceed your allowable lot coverage. So that is a limiting factor that may not allow to have multiple units put on any particular property. You can't build in critical areas. Your utilities will decide if they need to have their own meter going all the way to the street, or if it can tie into the main house meter. So that will significantly affect what the cost is to build. And then also a reminder that these all need to follow all building regulations. And so there's no shortcuts or anything to make it cheaper or faster than any other structure. After all of that, if you take a map and go through and look at all of the parcels that still qualify to have ADUs put on them, Commerce says that about for the city of Woodlands, 1 to 5% of that final number would be buildable, might actually happen in the next 20 years. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that in Cowlitz County, they technically, if you look at the middle column, it says 2,866 ADUs could be between the city limits and UGA, but the fact that you can only look at 1 to 5% after all of these other factors are taken into account, we're talking about 100, between 30 and 143 over 20 years. So it would not happen overnight, and these things would all be within the parcel setbacks. You would have decisions to make on parking, as well as height requirements. So they would not be transformative to a city. It was not drastically change a neighborhood. And that's one of the big concerns that has come up repeatedly when cities talk about the ADUs. Likewise, in Clark County, we're just doing the math. It looks like on a high end, 2 might be built over 20 years. So that, again, probably would not not happen or be significant. So if you go to the next slide, ADU capacity conclusions. I'm not going to read through all of this. It's in the packet if you like, but the bottom line is that not that many would be built, and this won't help towards that deficit discussion for the housing capacity, and that they're not going to work for that for the Clark County issue. So not that we were going to. Again, we're just going to tell them how ridiculous it is that it's required to have those 69 units, but we did the math just to be certain. If you go to the next slide, this one should be a big one. That is a large map of Woodlands, and this is just to show you the work that we've done in identifying parcels that are vacant and planned for development, and parcels that are considered by definition redevelopable. Doesn't mean they're going to, like Travis had said, it's not going to happen in Clark County. So that's by math, it pencils out to say it's redevelopable, but realistically, that probably will not be. If you go to the next slide, now we have a team that are working on the transportation plan for the comprehensive plan, and for that, one of our teammates, Ann Sylvester, is taking the lead on that. Now, she's on vacation right now, so I don't have a ton of experience, particularly on the transportation, but I just wanted to give you a quick update on some slides that she gave me before she left, just to tell you what will be happening over the next several months. As a reminder, she's done a lot of work with Woodlands, and that is very close to her. So she really cares about making this a very good project. If you look at the next slide that says background, it just reminds that there's a long history with SCJ staff that they've had dating back to 2008, 2009. Many of these projects in the city's current plan came from that effort and subsequent studies that SCJ has done. They've prepared transportation analysis for let's see, the 462-acre West Side Industrial Development. There's been a variety of other traffic studies that are associated, and we're also going back to some of the public comments way back in the beginning of tonight. We're also coordinating with the recent and current efforts to improve the I-5 Exit 21 interchange. So hopefully that will, again, bring additional improvements as they work with WashDOT. If you go to the next slide, we just wanted to say that quickly talk about the process that's going to go on in the next couple months with transportation, that they're using the existing conditions data that from all available studies to prepare a comprehensive study of existing traffic operations and safety conditions. And analysis is limited to locations where the data is available with no new data collection. The next slide. And based on the land use element, they're going to identify where community growth is expected and likely characteristics of that growth. And then based on future year forecasts, prepare for other studies, identify likely long-term transportation issues and needs. And then adjust future year forecasts to reflect potential impacts from expected growth based on the land use plan, and identify recommended road improvements. And all of this will go into their report at the end in several months from now. Finally, in the next slide, their approach is going to say that they are also going to address other Growth Management Act requirements, adopting a multimodal level of service standards that's required, address active transportation, transit, freight, air, marine, and transportation demand management, which is required, and prepare cost estimates for these proposed improvements. So that was a lot, and I did have one final thing I wanted to talk about, and no more slides, so this is just me talking. There is a survey that Travis has the information for that he can distribute if anyone doesn't have it. That has been around for a few months and will be up for the rest of the year. So we would like to encourage to get as many people as possible to go through and take part in this survey. We've got about 120 responses right now. We hope to get up to, our goal is, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 500 by the end. We'll see. We'll see how popular this gets. There was a couple of really quick results that I wanted to mention that just were very interesting. One was there's a question that says, what do you think Woodland's top 3 priorities should be in the next 20 years? Now there's 16 options, so there was a lot to choose from, plus another one where you write in your own. But the results so far have said that 70%, 70, want to see improving city streets and intersections. The next most popular option is 41%, which is improving infrastructure and services. And then similarly at 40%, maintain a safe community. And then the next jump is all the way down to 23%, which is retaining a vital commercial downtown. So 70% of the people who have taken this survey want to see improving city streets and intersections. So we've got a very clear line of what's important to the people for that. Similarly, looking at the housing types that could come in with possible middle housing, cottage housing was by far the most popular at 57, then duplex at 53, townhome at 48, and triplex at 21. So you can see the goal is the smallest middle housing option as possible and slowly going up, and nobody wants to see anything that's much bigger than that. Let's see. Finally, I just wanted to mention that there's a question that says, in your opinion, what are the most critical climate-related risk factors for the community? And that is 34.7% say fire and wildfire, 36.4% say flooding, and the next one drops down to 8, and that's extreme weather events and drought and water scarcity. So again, a very clear message of what people are concerned about, and this will all go and get incorporated into the goals and policies that we will be writing in the coming months. So that was a lot. It went very fast, but I hope you guys understand the updates that we're working on, and we're open to any questions even after tonight. Talking to Travis, we can get answers for you down the road. And like I said, I'll be seeing a lot of you guys in the next coming year, so we'll see you again very soon.
Is anyone? Yes, Ms. Dowdy.
Okay. So I have a question about the ADUs. So with the HB 1337, all towns and cities are going to be required to allow them in their towns. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so then my next question is for communities that have HOAs, that supersedes HOA rules, and the HOAs will have to allow them in their neighborhoods. Is that correct?
I am not sure about that one. I don't think it forces HOAs to rewrite their rules. So I think they are part of the exceptions to the law.
Okay, so HOAs do not have to require them to be allowed.
I believe so. I'd have to double check to be certain, but I'm fairly confident that they do not.
Okay.
There's several HOAs in the community, actually.
Yeah.
So that narrows it down to
where they can be.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that all is part of why Commerce says between 1 and 5% is really going to happen, because they know that things like this are coming up. Again, this isn't looking at every single parcel in any city, because that's a tremendous undertaking to do a study like that. that no one has budget for. So this is all done mathematically, and trying to be as reasonable and realistic as possible.
Ms. Smith, did you have something? No? Yes. Did you understand that? She wants to know where she can get the study. Is it online or?
It's attached to this week's.
It's attached to the agenda, I think, isn't it? Am I correct?
If you go online, it's a. Oh,
the survey. The survey.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Travis, will you be able to help distribute it? Do you have anything you can give out for that?
So we did have it on a banner at the city's webpage, but that banner has expired, and we will get that reposted. And it'll be posted until the end of the year at least. City's website, yep. We also make an effort to try and republish that post on Facebook, and we just haven't done that for since the last update.
Okay.
And tell your friends.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. It is 8:40, and we'll go out at workshop and back into the regular meeting.
Motion to end meeting?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Councilmember Rounds.
Thank you, Captain.
Yeah.
What's the date of the
Hey, Derek, how are you? For sports. So if you go on to, let's see, Woodland Schools.org, and you go to Quick Links and go to Athletics, and you go to, let's see, go to the high school one right here. Right here, you have every one of the sports. So you can click on